You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
How about a poster? Anthony Davis is on fire.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now listening to the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q chiming with you on podcast 302. That's right, 302 on the Pelican postgame report. And in this happy episode, we're going to recap the Pelicans' 133-98 win over the useless NBA's worst Cleveland Cavaliers with stats, facts, breakdown, interviews from Coach Gentry, Anthony Davis, Julius Randle. Plus, we got a preview of the Pelicans versus Memphis Grizzlies matchup on Monday night, and that applause is for you for joining us today, both new and established listeners of the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. Up and down, man. That seems to be the theme, the model for the Pelicans right now until they're able to break out of this here streak of up and down type of movements that they're making. You know, I knew that the Pelicans would win this game. That's why I said in the previous show, why do I really have to recap this here thing? Do I really have to recap it? Because if the Pelicans don't win this game against Cleveland, you might as well fire the whole staff. They should have beat Brooklyn, even though Brooklyn is actually playing pretty well the last 12 contests. They've actually played pretty well. You know, they're kind of doing their little mid-season spike where they're fighting and they seem to have gathered some type of grit there. But nonetheless, regardless of whatever's going on with Brooklyn or teams like Midland or below Midland, which is Pitland teams, the Pelicans should dispatch these guys without any issues, problems whatsoever. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves is one of the teams that the Pelicans are going to be playing real soon. And a little bit of information on this is the fact that they fired their head coach and president, Tom Thibodeau, today, which is interesting to me because that Minnesota team is actually was a team that I would have thought that with Tibbs, you know, with that team, that they would be competing. Now, they looked pretty good last year. They played well, and they've been playing well this year. Obviously, they wanted to make a coaching change. Of course, Chicago made a coaching change last year by getting rid of Hoiberg, and consequently, he's the guy that might end up taking a head coaching or some type of executive job in Minnesota. Now, I am not just trying to give you a spiel on the Timberwolves. It's not the Timberwolves post-game report on the PRO Media Network. It's the Pelican post-game report. I'm saying that only to make a comparison versus Thibodeau. When he was picked up by his team was right around the same time Gentry was picked up by this team. He interviewed for this job here. Minnesota obviously have higher aspirations for what they want to do in Minnesota. I just wish the Pelicans would follow suit. You get what I'm saying here? Because Thibodeau is a way more accomplished coach than Al Gentry is, especially as a head coach. There's no comparison. But they oust him. We hold on to our guy. Now, he couldn't beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. There's nothing I got to say about that. Anyway, let's look at some of the team stats from this game between the Cavs and the Pelicans. Pelicans wiped them out 138-98. The second quarter of the game, they held that team to 46 points while they just exploded on them and just did some really great stuff in this one. Now, the Pelicans shot 58% flat, which was damn good, almost 60%, 47 of 81 versus 41% for the Cavaliers. They shot a blistering 52%, 14 of 27 from downtown against the Cavaliers, who were 12 of 33 for 36%. They made 86% of their free throws, 25 of 29 versus what the Cavs did, 14 of 18 for about 78%. They out-rebounded the Cavaliers 50-44, in which they out-assisted them 29-22, had more steals, 13-2, more blocks, 7-3. They had 15 turnovers for 26 points, while the Cavs gave up 20 turnovers for 34 points. Fast break points, Pelicans 20-4. They beat them in points in the paint, 48-40. And, of course, they keep their personal fouls down. So all be all for the Pelicans were the fact that they played a very stellar game against a very mediocre team. This team, after all, is only 8-32. They're an atrocious 5-16 at home. So if you couldn't beat this is, to my opinion, the Cavaliers are the worst team in the NBA currently. With LeBron there, they are definitely the worst team in the NBA. If you couldn't beat this team, then they should have did to Alvin Gentry what Minnesota didn't hesitate to do to Thibodeau, and he had way more of a ceiling with this team. This is his team, So, hey, man, that just goes to show you people are willing to compete here. And Minnesota's in direct competition with the Pelicans. So they made a move because they felt they need to make a move. Our leadership is standing back saying we're going to work on this thing and going to keep it going. I'm telling you, we're going to have some issues here. But anyway, let's listen to what Coach Al Gentry had to say, because the team did beat the worst team in the NBA 133-98 like they were supposed to. Here's Gentry to explain how they did it.
Yeah, we played much better. I just thought we were more alert, more locked in, did a good job of helping each other. So obviously when you're running off misses instead of makes, it helps your offense tremendously.
That offense got going, Coach, late second quarter? Is that when you guys finally started to click a little bit?
Yeah, it was probably about that time. But like I said, I think our offense was really good tonight, basically because our defense was really good, and when you get stops and you're running on stops rather than taking the ball out of the basket, obviously you're going to be able to attack a lot better.
Is it important to get a win like this after you've had a couple of days of practice and be able to translate things that were talked about into a game itself?
Yeah, I think that is an important thing. What we have to do is develop consistency on it. We can't do it this game and then not do it the next game. We have to be able to take it from practice to the game situations, and we have to be able to do it night after night after night, not just one night here and one night there.
Any update on each one more, Coach?
He just bumped his knee. As a matter of fact, I had someone at the table ready to go in for him, and he had bumped it the play before, and we put someone at the table, and then he bumped it down there. I think he's going to be okay, but we'll have to see. Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
It's Coach Alvin Gentry, man. Give you the spiel on what happened during the game. Really interesting because you look at I just gave you the team statistics individually speaking. The Pelicans had a very good team effort against this team, despite the fact that they were the Cleveland Cavaliers. If he can borrow pinches of this game plan and kind of spread it out over the next few teams that they play, possibly of all of them, it would help the Pelicans in more ways than one, because it's getting right to the crutch, right to the center of the season, where a lot of guys, start the season on a high note. They start revving up, and they kind of rest right around that All-Star break. We're coming into early January, and we're getting closer to All-Star break in mid to late February, which is then what they say the second half of the season, which is not actually half the season, but the second half of the season after the All-Star break, when people have their little All-Star rest and then they come out and prepare to run at the playoffs. Most teams get that playoff push started early. I wouldn't wait till after February or mid trade deadline, all this kind of stuff to get going. I think that this should be the time right in January, starting the new year up when the league usually switches from 2018 to 2019, or however the league's year switches to the second year of the same year, if you know what I mean. That's when you should start talking to this team about building upon win upon win upon win to help them get to a position where they don't have to wait until you get knee deep in the playoff window to be talking about, oh, well, we got to start playing, guys. We got to step up and move and do all this kind of nonsense. That's the kind of stuff that we talked about with Al Gentry before, which I didn't like him pulling the last time. It's like he was like, well, we getting this playoff push. You're waiting too long to get this stuff here going. We got to get this moving. We got to get it shaking. Looking at these team statistics, the individual statistics, the top man for the Pelicans was actually Drew Holiday, 22 points and 5 rebounds with 3 assists, 27 minutes, 9 of 13 from the field, 4 of 6 from downtown. Drew finished with 22 points, but him and Julius Randle also had the same amount of points as well. 22 points for Julius, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, and 33 minutes of action, 8 of 14 from the field, 1 of 3 from downtown, 5 of 5 from the line. He had 22, and AD followed up with a 20-point, 10-rebound effort in 29 minutes, 6 of 12 from the field. Now, see, that kind of game. Anthony Davis, if he can be allowed to score 20 points, he can roll out a bit out of his bed and fall and hit the floor. And before he hit the floor, he scored 20 points and snatched 10 rebounds. That's just like easy to Anthony Davis to do. Julius Randle is really balling in this position next to Anthony Davis, to be honest with you. He looks really good when they do run that type of lineup. Etwan Moore, not so much. 27 minutes. He was 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from downtown, 3 of 3 from the line. He finished with 10 points on the afternoon. But Elfrid Payton, who is coming back off of his second game or third game back, he had 13 points, kind of settling in, 3 assists. He only played 24 minutes, 5 of 8 from the field, 1 of 1, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 1 of 1 from the 3-point line. Now, what's interesting about the statistics is they don't seem like much from the Pelicans starters, but if you look at the bench, you can see where the bench helped the team in this game. Darius Miller played 23 minutes, scored about 14 points. That's why I feel Darius Miller is good at his minutes. Between that 18 to 19, if you can go to 23, I'm not mad at that. But anything above 23, 24, 25 minutes a game from him is a waste of minutes, because you're taking him out of his role. Giving him 23 minutes, he was 4 of 6 from the field, 4 of 5 from downtown, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. He finished with 14 points. If you keep him in that area, you'll get the most out of Darius Miller. Overplaying him is a mistake. Just being honest with you. Other guys they gave minutes to off the bench, believe it or not, was Jahlil Okafor. He had 19 minutes. He was 3 of 5 from the field. He finished with 4 rebounds and 10 points. Now that's pretty good. And then he gave minutes to Frank Jackson. Big ups to I got to give credit to Alvin Gentry, because he's starting to do, and even in this game, they decided to open up the bench and let a lot of these guys get a little action in there. I still got to give credit where credit's due when Alvin Gentry do start to play some of his bench guys and let some of these guys get in here and get some burn, because he opened the bench. He allowed Frank Jackson to come in. He finished with 19 minutes. He was 3 of 8 from the field. Didn't hit a 3-pointer, but he finished with 6 points and 5 rebounds and 3 assists. So not bad, but that's decent minutes to give a guy like Frank Jackson. 19 minutes is pretty good. He also played Tim Frazier for 20 minutes. He only got 3 points out of him and 3 assists. But I would give Frank Jackson those minutes. The only Pelican that didn't play is Wesley Johnson. I don't know why is Wesley Johnson not playing. I think that's a mistake not to play Wesley Johnson. In actuality, I probably would give more minutes to Wesley Johnson than I would do to Solomon Hill, who only had 4 minutes. Sheik Diallo played 9 minutes, scored 5 points, had 3 rebounds in the game. So very interesting, to say the least, for the Pelicans player. Now, before we take our break and finish the breakdown, let's listen to team star Anthony Davis, what he had to say about the win over the Cavaliers. Here's AD talking to you about it.
Many different positive things that you could take from this. What were some of the biggest things that you took away from this game as far as what you guys did tonight?
We defended. I think we probably our best game in my eyes defensively that we had. We talked a lot. We're helping each other. So when we talk and fly around on the defensive end, we're able to win games like this. This just can't be a win and a one-time thing just because it's Cleveland. We got to do this next game and the game after that in order to get to where we want to be.
They were pretty competitive for most of the first half, but it seemed like in the third quarter you guys just kind of put them away. What did you think was the key to being able to take such a big lead there?
We know they played last night. And for us, we just want to get out and run more and just kind of wear them down a little bit and create some separation. Had a 9-point lead going to halftime and just wanted to build on that lead and work on keeping leads and growing leads. We've been struggling with that, and we've been struggling with our third quarter, so I think it was a good sign for us.
You talked a lot about defense. I know you guys talked about defense a lot the last few days leading up to this game. But what did you like the most about what you guys did offensively, just having so many guys contribute and play well?
Moving the basketball. It was a complete game. We moved the basketball. We got great shots. We passed. We had a lot of assists. Some offensive rebounds. I think we did a good job offensively. And we just got to keep it going. We can't have one game where we play well on both ends of the floor and then go into the next game and struggle. So no matter who we're playing, it always has to be about us.
For your first.
That's Anthony Davis, man, breaking down with his thoughts on the game. You heard what AD said, man. This can't be a one-hitter quitter. We got to keep this momentum going. And right, like I said before in the previous game, they should have been on a streak moving forward in this game. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. They lost the last game to the Brooklyn Nets. But this time around, we got to build this thing. That's the only way you're going to get back to 500 and be competitive. It's time to start playing ball. But that's not wait to February and then wait after February and say, well, we got to get to the playoff stretch. We can't do that. We got to get rolling now and jump on them right now so that we don't have to play this late thing rolling around toward after that All-Star break. But anyway, we got some more stuff. We're going to play Julius Randle interview on the game. We're going to finish talking about the Cavs matchup. We also have the preview of the Pelicans and Memphis Grizzlies on Monday night. All that on the other side of the break. You're now listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. Stick and stay.
Get ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needs it the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to EmbracePetInsurance.com. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelican. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAStore.com has all the gear.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network, recapping the Pelicans' 133-98 win over the worst team in the NBA, in my opinion. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Might not be my opinion, it's a plain fact here. They spanked them in a major way, like you're supposed to spank garbage teams. You're not supposed to play with them. You take them out of them, take them out of their misery. And the Pelicans did a fantastic job of doing that. Behind the three scorers of Drew Holiday with 22, also Julius Randle finished with 22, Anthony Davis with 20 to help them. In Cleveland's defense, one player, Jordan Clarkson, came off the bench with 23 points, played really well for him, 15 points for Jones. He was the second scorer, tied with Colin Sexton, who finished with 15 points. They have a long way to go, that Cleveland club, but that's not our concern. The Pelicans get the win in a major way. Also, you think about the Pelicans needing to stack power wins in a major way. They do. They definitely need to do that. You heard what Anthony Davis said in the prior interview, in the prior break, the prior segment, is that we need to not just play with this, one or two games here. We split here or there. We got to consistently build to get back to 500. The next team they have is Memphis, and Memphis has lost 5 in a row. At one time, Memphis was the top team in the Southwest Division. Remember that? They've come back. They've crashed back down where they usually belong. And as you start seeing the league kind of filter out, as some of the best teams start rising to the top, because they're the ones who were smart enough to figure out the wrinkles, iron them out, and start playing productive, fundamental, and positive basketball. The Pelicans, not so much. They still teeter-tottering, still indecisive, still inconsistent, and hopefully they can start getting their ground legs under them so that this don't be one of those campaigns where they're trying to rush toward the end of the season to get. They're going to just be a first-round knockout if that's the case. They have to build this team back to where it was when they made that playoff run, which is not hard to do if you can kind of figure out what they need to do here. I don't know if trades or something. I definitely think Dale Dempsey's working on his trade. It's just too quiet in that front. But outside of that, let's hear what Julius Randle had to say about the Cleveland Cavaliers win. Here we go.
A dominant performance like this where you guys won big and were able to, rest guys in the fourth quarter.
It was good. Really good for us. I like what I said we did on the defensive end, so that allowed us to be dominant like that, and we got the win.
I know you guys talked a ton about defense in the last few days. What did you like, especially like in the third quarter, what you guys did defensively to just really shut them down?
Just helped each other out, man. Help the helper. Just help each other out constantly. Being in help side position and then firing out from there.
What did you like about Drew's performance? It seemed like shooting-wise, he was making a lot of deep jumpers, and it's one of the things that had there.
Extremely efficient. Just looked like everything was coming easy for him.
The question to me is that what really happened in this game? Was it the fact the Pelicans was just that more dominant, or the Cleveland Cavaliers were just that more terrible? I think it's a mixture of both. Pelicans knew that they can impose their will on this team. This team dealing with a lot of injuries, and they're trying to learn how to win. Team is really a bad team right now. It's not really a problem. Pelicans went in there and did what they were supposed to do to this team and got out of there with a pretty easy win. Didn't have Anthony Davis exposed to a lot of minutes. They were able to share around the minutes. Like I say, off the bench, 23 minutes for Darius Miller. That's good. 19 minutes for Okafor. That's terrific. Frank Jackson had 19 minutes. That's fine. And Tim Frazier had 20 minutes. That's 4 players with over 19 minutes of action off the bench. That was awesome to me. That's awesome. And include the fact that all of the starters played above 24 minutes. The only starter that played the least amount of minutes was Elfrid Payton. He was supposed to be on the 25-minute restriction, which Alvin Gentry violated it last game by playing him 10 minutes over his medical minute restriction, which was totally stupid. You end up getting the man hurt again. Respect the medical staff's recommendation. That's the problem with this coach staff. He's undisciplined. You don't ask the player, well, how do you feel? We're going to keep you in there. The guy just got back 2 games ago. He's supposed to be under a minute restriction. That's terrible. That's terrible coaching, in my opinion. There are other point guards that can play, that can help you win. Give Frank Jackson those extra minutes. We trying to groom him into something. But anyway, the Pelicans were able to get it 133-98. Kudos to Gentry and the staff for opening up the bench, and had 4 players that played over 19 minutes off the bench, and they contributed. They really did. They added something more. They scored how a bench is supposed to score and help out the starting 5. So kudos for Al Gentry in that regard. Now, moving ahead to the preview matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are falling through the floor, losers of 5 in a row. They're now 18-21. The Pelicans sitting at 18-22. Now, what we could do is we could supplant this team. Now, of course, the Grizzlies beat the Pelicans in the first matchup, 107-103. We can get some revenge here against this team, as they're currently sitting in third place in the Southwest Division. First place is Houston, 22-16, sitting on top. San Antonio's gathered their ground. They've won 4 in a row. They're now 23-17. Memphis has lost 5 in a row. They've dropped to third in the Southwest, tied with Dallas, who's also losing 2 games right now on a 2-game losing streak. The Pelicans finally got some stuff done, so they're sitting a half a game back of both those teams. A win over Memphis could catapult the Pelicans over Dallas, over Memphis to the third spot, which would be a good spot for them to keep building on, because they'll see Cleveland again at home and they can keep putting these string of wins together like they're supposed to beat some of these Midland and Pitland teams to get in the position. Now the Grizzlies up next. Like I said, they're on a 5-game slide currently speaking, and they just don't look good. Their top players, Mike Conley, he is healthy, 20 minutes a game. 20 points a game for Mike Conley, shooting about 42%. Very good point guard. Elfrid Payton has his defensive guarding ability cut out for him. He has the guard Conley's a tough sell, and I'm pretty sure that Drew Holiday is going to have the opportunity to play against Conley too as well. Marc Gasol is the top rebounder in his team, about 8, almost 9 rebounds per game, and Mike Conley is the top assist man on his team with 6. Of course, AD's 28.5 points per game, leads the Pelicans with 13 rebounds, and Drew Holiday is the top assist man for the Pelicans. Now, day-to-day are Dylan Brooks and Javon Carter, the point guard. They're listed as day-to-day. Twine Moore, of course, had that issue. He's listed as day-to-day. And, of course, Nikolai Mirotic, who was supposed to come back a game ago, they still have him out. So I guess they're holding him out so the Al Gentry don't violate his minute restriction either. So, anyway, he's out as well. So the Pelicans averaging about 117 points per game while giving up 115. They shoot about 48% from the field, 47 rebounds a game, 27 assists per game, which is top 5 in the NBA, 5.5 blocks per game, about 7.5 steals per game, and currently they are 3-7 in the last 10 games, which is not good at all. The Grizzlies sitting about a 101.2 a game. They give up about 103 a game. That's why they're losing 45.5% from the field. They get about 39 rebounds per game, 23 assists flat, 6 blocks flat, almost 9 steals a game. This team does. Remember, the grind is a part of their identity. They get about 9 assists, and they're currently on a 5-game losing streak. We can't be the medicine for this team. Let's please not be the medicine for the Memphis Grizzlies so they get well. Let's use them as a catapult and move ahead of them in this situation. We have to keep playing these teams. We got to beat these teams and get these teams out of the way so we can start moving up and up and up in this rankings here. Now, the Pelicans, like I said, Memphis are currently on a 5-game losing streak, and they are 2-8 the last 10 games. So something's not working for them. Now, they got blown out. The last game they got blown out was on the 5th of January, and they got destroyed by the San Antonio Spurs, 108-88. Prior to that, they lost by 9 to Brooklyn. Prior to that, they lost to Detroit. They lost to Houston by 12, and they lost to Boston before that in late December by about 9 points. So this team is not completing games similar to the Pelicans. The only issue is who's got it more figured out in this matchup. Grizzlies beat them the first time around when they were playing better. This time around, do the Pelicans have enough to get the win against the Grizzlies? Now, this is going to be at home, and then behind this game, they'll have a Cleveland to come in. So the Pelicans can put together 3 quick wins before they see the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have, by the way, fired their coach. So fortune could favor the Pelicans in the next 4 contests if the Pelicans are willing to seize the day. You see what I'm saying? Either the Pelicans could take advantage of some of the troubles these teams are going on off with and speak up and, take advantage of it. Like I said, because when it comes down to it, the Pelicans split on the road. They lose to Brooklyn by 5, destroy Cleveland. They come home for Memphis, and then they have Cleveland, on Wednesday. So they have an opportunity to win 3 games in a row before they see a Minnesota club, before they go on that long road stretch of Minnesota, the Clippers, Golden State, Portland, Memphis again, before they come back for Detroit in end of January on the 23rd. Now, the Pelicans could put together a quick 3-game winning streak before they go to Minnesota, who's kind of dealing with bringing in a new coach and firing Tibbs. So they might have a little flux going on. And I know that's about 2 games from now, but still in all, they could probably take advantage of what the new coach is going to do. We could take advantage of that and put together 3 or 4 game winning streak before we have to face a serious contender, because you have LA, who played you well, and then Golden State in the middle of January behind that. But stand with this game, I'm going to pick the Pelicans. I'm going to just go ahead on and say the Pelicans are going to win this game. They're going to beat this team. Why? Because I feel like they should. Like we talked about with Cleveland. Anthony Davis said in an interview, you heard him, we have to put together a string of wins to get back in this thing. They're only 18-22. That's it. 4 games underneath 500. A win gets them catapulted up to 3rd position in the Southwest Division, and we can start mounting on stuff like that. But let's just keep it positive and keep focusing on it and say, well, the team needs a little confidence, a little consistency, a few more stops here or there, a few more wrinkles ironed out. Hopefully they can get it done. Nikolai Mirotic returns in a couple of games, and we'll keep this thing turning. So thank y'all for listening to Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. If you like the show, please subscribe with our social media links below. Support our sponsors with those links below. You can also donate to the show by going to the Patreon page at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network and become a contributor. From us here at the Pelican Postgame Report, peace.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network.
The Kleins family has been getting people to go nuts for old nuts since 1995. As legends have it, a number of the Kleins friends who heard the idea said you can go nuts trying to name a store like that. In the excitement, the Kleins thought their friends said old nuts instead of go nuts and proceeded to throw caution to the wind. Old Nuts has over 2,000 items, bulk and wholesale prices of a whole lot of your favorite fruits, nuts, and confections, a selection of gift baskets for any budget, any occasion, and provides one of the best and impressively rated shopping experiences on the web. Fact is, between their selection, service, speed, or their online presence in the virtual mirror retail experience, they have developed an enviable client base that's comprised of personal and professional customers who count on their remarkable range of gift baskets. Think of gift basket, think about Old Nuts. Check them out, oldnuts.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog. Newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Postgame Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share, and help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.